Hi, I'm Kerry Mussington from the Mind Over Matter project, also known as the MOM project. I have got Louise. Please do introduce yourself as you go around, and then we're going to bring you the most amazing story. So please do introduce yourself, please.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Louise. I currently am working alongside Kerry on the Mum project, which I've been doing for a couple of months now. I'm really sort of getting involved with spreading awareness and getting the message out there. I also am a teaching assistant and trainee, personal trainer, and a member of the JDA lifestyle fitness page. So that's me, short and sweet.
Thank you very much. And Susan.
Okay, I'm Susan McCree. I'm also working alongside Kerry with the Mums Project and Mind Over Matter, and also a member of the JD Fitness. My background is mental health, learning disabilities, which I worked in for 20 years. I'm now a qualified hypnotherapist and psychotherapist.
Thank you. Now today we have our special guest Laura Levers and Kylie Dorling, and they're going to be talking about their story as they made the paper. And the story in the paper, and they're going to tell us about their story. Okay, so I'm going to show you in the background what the story is, and ask you to elaborate more, Kylie and Laura, on this topic. Okay, you can see the screen? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so you made the paper right here, and where it says, heartbreaking loss of two boys inspires mum to help bereaved parents. And as you can see, that this only happened the other day, so this is an exclusive that you're giving us here today. And you're now doing charity work, but I want you to explain in your own words, and here's a picture of you and Laura down here as well. Look at this. In your own words, exactly why you are doing what you're doing, and it's not entirely up to you who would like to tell me about your story, please, Kylie.
Well, we did join. Basically, I lost my boys 14 years ago. I've had two boys since. I've never really had the confidence to get it out there and show awareness to mothers. But I had a word with Laura and we got together and we done it together. She stuck by me through a lot of it, to be honest. I've never really grieved over my boys, but the last couple of years have been really hard. I have been grieving a lot more. It's now starting to come out a lot more. So I just wanted to put it out there for other parents that go through it and try and support in some sort of way. And Laura said she'd want to help with that. Laura also lost her brother to cancer when he was 2, and her little boy was born with a hole in the heart. So she could have lost him as well. So yeah, we've just joined together to show a lot of awareness, because losing a child is very hard at any age, not just babies, any sort of age really. And a lot of mothers do get postnatal depression, and when they've got other children, they lose that bond with their children. So it is very hard, and I do just want to show awareness really.
You lost your baby, I was trying to add it up, 21 weeks old. So that's 5 months, and wow, that must have been very difficult for you.
Yeah, that was my first one, and then my second one was 23 weeks. So yeah.
So you gave birth to both of these children?
Yeah, I went into labour with both of them, yeah.
I can't even put myself in your shoes, or
With my
it's
second,
unrelatable to me. But it seems so.
um,
I'm a parent myself,
yeah,
and I think fearing losing your children is the biggest possible thing that plays on our mind 24 hours, 7 days a week. It never goes away.
no,
And so, you know, the first time that you this happened to your child, you and your children, did it scare you to go on to have another child? Did that scare you?
yeah, definitely, yeah. Obviously fell quite quickly with my second. I fell about 6 months after, so I was very scared. And obviously when I got to 21 weeks with my second, it did scare me. And then I was over that 21 weeks, but then when I hit 23, I started bleeding and then went into labour, went through it all again. And then he was alive for 25 days with tubes and everything on him, but he was pulling into his belly, so he got poisoned. So they had to turn the machine off. There was nothing more they could do for him. So yeah, and I didn't fall pregnant anymore for a couple of years. I got with a new partner, and then I had my third child, and he's now 10. Pregnancy was all fine with him, and then I had another child 6 years later, and he's 4 now, but he's got a lot of health problems. He's got a hole in the heart and sleep apnea and club bleeds, so he's got a lot of disabilities. But yeah, I did carry on and have 2 more children, which my pregnancy went fine with. So
A blessing, you know. Did you find that when at first it's quite difficult for myself to hear, you know, for all of us, I expect. Did you find that you went after you lost your child? Did you go off the rails?
yeah.
Okay, what kind of things were you doing? Because it's a cry for help, isn't it? Did you get any support around that bereavement support? You got nothing for your first.
I had my family, like my mum and my sisters, but I never really had like bereavement counsellor and anything like that. I just did it like I had to drop out of college and everything. I couldn't carry on with college, and then I got on to drink really bad. So yeah, I did. Kind of hit the rails.
Was you? I have to ask. Was you hurting yourself in any other way other than drink without promoting the method?
Yeah. Suicide. Yeah. Obviously, I can't say what. But yeah, suicide.
It's okay. You got as low as that. When you got as low as that, did you cry out for it? Did anybody help you there? And was there any intervention there?
My mum and my sisters, they pushed to help me, but I didn't like get help from. I had a link worker at the time, but I never found it really worked. So I just dropped out of that. I didn't carry on with it. Yeah, so
it's a big bold decision to have another child after that happens, you know, and
yeah.
What did you, the words of encouragement from other people that heard your story, how do they react to you? That's what I want to know. How do they react when you're pregnant? Here you are, you're pregnant, and then you go into early labor, and then the tragedy that happens. How do people react? Do they avoid you? Were they comforting to you?
They were comforting, yeah. It's quite hard. People don't really know how to kind of like really comfort you when you go through something like that. They don't understand it, do they? Unless they've been there. A lot of people don't really like, so they find it hard to comfort you, if you know what I mean. They try their best. They can give you a hug and they can say they're there and support you like that, but it just, yeah, it's not.
What's
Doesn't take that pain away, does it?
No.
No. So when you then get pregnant again,
Yeah,
it happens again, but you're not over the depression from the first child, are you?
right.
So then is this doubly worse for you now? How
Yeah.
did you just tell us what happened. Really, be raw with it. How did you cope? I don't know.
I spiraled really. I spiraled. I started drinking heavily. Yeah, done suicidal things. Yeah, I spiraled really. And then when I got 19, I met my new partner and then had my oldest boy. Well, he's 10 now. But that was very scary, falling pregnant with him. But yeah, I did spiral quite bad because when I was 19, the month before I fell pregnant with my 10-year-old, my brother died, and because he drowned in a pond, and he was 15. So that was hard because I had just lost him in the July, and then in the August I found out I was pregnant with my 10-year-old. So that was really hard. So that was more of a lot, obviously being pregnant, and yes, that was more of a stress because I thought I was going to go through it again. But I got through it.
Wow. Guys, any questions just so far before we pick up a little bit more? Go ahead, Lou.
I was going to say, when you lost your first and then your second, did you know why, or were you blaming yourself? What made you? I know obviously it's a hard situation to go for anyone to go through, for you to go through, and you said you hit the drink, but was that because what? It sounds like a silly question, but what made you do that? Were you beating yourself? Were you blaming yourself for it, or did you know there were medical reasons, or
no,
what?
there was no answers why I went through it. But when I fell pregnant with my third, they actually found some cysts on my ovaries. So then they said that could have been why I lost my other two. But they never found them when I was pregnant with those two. They only found them in my third pregnancy. So that could have been why. Why I lost them. But obviously at that time I didn't know that.
Gosh. Wow. It's even though I'm interviewing you, we're interviewing you. It's very difficult to hear. I want to say you're amazing, incredible, to give it another go and to actually get the blessing out of the interview at the end of the day. And still, you're still dealing with this. Do you still go up and down?
Yeah, like especially like on their birthdays and the days they passed, and yeah.
Do you celebrate? Do you celebrate their birthday?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have a grave, so I go to the grave, I put flowers and balloons and stuff. So yeah, and light candles and that.
Yeah. So how do your children, the ones that you have now, how do they know? You explain, obviously you go to the cemeteries, you must be taking the children with you. You explain.
No, I don't take them to the cemetery. But my oldest is 11 in August. He does know about them and he does question now he's getting older. But I still haven't took him to the cemetery, but I do let him know about them, and I do let him know that they have got brothers.
Can I ask you why you didn't take them to the cemetery?
I don't know. I think it's because it's heartbreaking when I go and it kills me. I just don't want them to be in that situation, and I don't want them to see me like that.
So you're trying to protect.
Yeah.
Protect. Have you, even though you're trying to protect, did you do it? Do you describe the afterlife to them in a particular way so they can have that imagination?
No, I just tell them that they've got brothers, and like in the evening, like we look for the brightest star in the sky before they go to bed and things like that. But yeah, they haven't seen pictures or things like that. They just know they've got brothers.
Will you ever? Well, you will tell them.
I think I will as they get older. Once they understand a bit more, I think like when they're teenagers.
But the thing is, and I have to I'm all for awareness. You've made the paper, as you see. Okay.
Yeah.
your children are at school age where they're going to discuss.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the oldest one he has seen it in the paper. He's like, Mum, what are you in the paper?
Oh, what did he say? How did he feel?
He said, what do you get in the paper? That's really good, Mum. So I did explain to him what we were doing, and I showed him a little cardigan. He was like, oh my God, a baby's really that small? I'm like, yeah, they are, mate. Yeah, so yeah, he was quite clever about it.
We end up doing the education really about premature babies and
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, thank you. Can I head over to Les Susan if you've got a question?
Just to say, really, at 19, you were just 19. You know, even at 19, I mean, the brain itself is not really fully developed in terms of emotions. So
I was 17 when I had my first.
Sorry?
I was 17 when I had my first.
Right. So
17
that was
and 18.
when you had your first, you experienced your first loss.
Yeah.
And then you were 19 again when you experienced the second loss.
18 with my second, and then I was 19 when I lost my brother. He drowned in a pond.
That's right. That was it. That you know, to be quite honest, I mean, really, you know, you're very remarkable, and you're really a lot more resilient than you probably even realize. To actually, you know, experience that's like 3 losses within, you know, a short space of time, really, and you know, we usually say that the brain is not fully developed until you're at least 22, the emotional side of things. And I feel that
I
was
lost my
a hell of a lot for you to take on.
Sorry, Kylie, what did you say?
my dad when I was 21 as well. He passed with cancer.
Okay.
Wow.
So you've had
And then
really a lot to deal with. And I think you've done remarkably
and then my
well.
And
Yeah.
then your nan, did you say?
Yeah.
And now when I was 22, she had a stroke. Yeah.
So from 17 to 22.
It's just been tragic.
Doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. I then lost my ex-partner. He committed suicide. I lost him to that. And then I lost my uncle. And then I've recently lost my uncle to COVID. So yeah, it hasn't stopped since I've been 17. Really, I've had a death every year. Really, basically, it hasn't stopped.
How does it affect your chain of thought for survival now?
My what? Sorry.
How does it affect, with all of this death that is going on around you, which is very difficult? Are you immune to it now, or does it actually? Do you look at life differently now?
I respect life now. Like things I've got, like I don't like, you know, a lot of people, they want this, they want that, like money, like everything, like, do you know what I mean? But I don't want that. I have my roof over my head, I have my family, I have my friends. I look at life a whole lot different, do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Very precious.
You are a helper, aren't you?
Yeah, I try to help as much as I can, yeah.
Yeah, you are a helper.
Yeah.
You've been guiding a few people to get some support. So I have to say thank you, credit to you right there. I am the losses of your children and what's happened in your life. You might look at life completely different to what you did a few years back now. You know, especially as you're now getting into that zone of where you've been helping people. It's almost like you've got a little bit of an awakening going on right now, because now you're getting in there helping people, but turning that emotion into something positive. So you start actually baby knitting Shining Star. So you founded the Shining Star, correct?
Yeah.
Between you both, or you
we done it together.
Yeah,
we come up with all these random names, and we thought Bright Light, so and so, and then on one day I said, "What about Shining Star?" And she went, "Yeah, I like that," and it's ever since it's stuck.
Yeah, it's a nice, it represents very, it's a good name. It's a good name. It represents what you're saying, because when you said you describe, talk to your children about the star, and then you just put a name on it. So did you name children, sweetheart?
Pardon?
Yeah, Lewis and Curtis.
Lewis and Curtis. Lewis and Curtis, we will meet you one day. I do believe in the afterlife, and I do believe that things happen for purpose and reason. And you know, you've only got the point where you've got your child now who has complications. You know, who knows that those children could have had much worse complications, and that's why they're not here. Who knows why these lovely little angels are taken from us so quickly? We don't have those answers. We do look to blame when there is loss, when there's loss, because we're looking for the understanding of it. And then we also say, did you lose faith? Did you ever have faith? Because a lot of people like to relate to, well, if there was a God, then this would never have happened.
Yeah.
Can I explain, without being flippant to you, the way that I transform my thought process into survival, okay, was to rationalize what the world was really about. And that, you know, when we actually get these labels ourselves and they come from some kind of trauma, or something like that. If I didn't tell you, hey, I was raped, or I had child abuse, or I went through this and I went through that, then there wouldn't be any knowledge in the world. So your testimonials are very important to help people see light at the end of the tunnel. And that's what you're doing, is shining like a star on the subject and the situation. You're opening up your emotions to explain exactly what you went through, how you overcome it, but what you're doing productively to replace those sad emotions and make something more positive out of it. Does that make sense, Kylie?
Yeah.
So here we go. I want to hear, Laura, how you brought Laura into this situation, and then we get to Laura. So you and Laura, you've known each other for how long?
5 years.
5 years, something like that.
5 years. All right. So you get together and you talk about this shining star. But Laura, you have a story of your own, don't you? Are you happy to share that today, or do you want to talk about something else?
I don't mind sharing.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So the reason why, tell me why you're so passionate in helping with Shining Star.
Well, my little boy, bless him, when he was born, he was home birth, and he stopped breathing as he came out of me, and he had to have oxygen, so we got rushed to hospital with him. He had to be under the light, UV light, because he was yellow. He had to have more oxygen, so they did ECG and they found out he had a hole in his heart, and he had a narrow valve from his heart to his lungs, but he was in and out of hospital, bless him. And then before his first birthday, he had to have operation. He was in guides, and I was constantly ringing guides hospital because I weren't with him. I didn't go to his appointments with him because he was in foster home. And sometimes I feel like because my little girl, she doesn't have a heart problem, and I'm thinking what I did when she got taken off me, I think, was it the drugs? Was it the alcohol? What done it to him? I still have that guilt where I done that to my son, and I still do it now. I still have that guilt where, you know, when he keeps going and having these operations, and it hurts me more because I don't know what's going on with him. And my mum, bless her, she's not here. She died in 2018, which hurts more because I used to open up to her about stuff, and I miss my mum every day. And then when she was telling me about her son, when she lost her son at 23 months old to cancer, I wasn't even born then, and she struggled with depression, and I just wanted to help other people, other mums, that it's okay to have depression because you just lost something special.
Yeah. So you got 2 children. One child is not very well, and these children are no longer with you, because at some point before these children were taken off of you, there must have been some form of mental health, mental illness, because of your actions, with what was going on with yourself. Yeah.
Before they got taken off me, I was in a bad relationship with, they said that if I weren't with him, I could have had my kids, but because I was in a domestic violence, I can't get out of it. My solicitor tried his best to get me out of it, and it was so hard because I didn't know love, and I didn't know, because with me being a sexual abuse at 10, I just thought being in that kind of thing is normal for me.
Yeah, I can relate to what you're saying. Completely relate what you're saying there. It's very difficult to get out of those situations when you don't actually realize that you're actually in those situations, do you? Until it's too late. And even though we have getting threatened with social services, which is what happens in domestic violence, they turn around and say, look, choose between him and choose between your child, and you're already groomed when you're in these domestic violence relationships. So your thought process is just not ours when we're in that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I couldn't even bond with my daughter. That's one thing. And then with my little boy, I started bonding with him, and then when he got taken off me, it was the most painful thing I ever had. And then 2014, I got pregnant with, and then I lost that because I was 8 weeks pregnant, and I was panicked. My brain just went overdrive, thinking, what if I get pregnant? What if I get taken off me? So I've had 2 miscarriages, and I just panicked, and I'm like, what am I going to do?
So did they offer you any rehabilitation, recovery, with anything that you've had? What help have you had?
None. I've been doing this all by myself. I've been hiding my emotionals inside. So when it comes to like self-harming, I self-harm. I was hospitalized, which I do admit that's a bad mistake. And I'm thinking to myself, every time I do it, I'm thinking, what about my kids? My kid's gonna go and think, why do it?
Your self-harming is your stopping suicide. Okay, that's not. Listen, you're alive. What you did is you didn't take the drastic measure in suicide. All right, we know that point. Many people that's experienced, we know that point. But before you got to that point, you were stopping yourself in so many different ways. That's your cry for help. And the minute you are doing extra drugs or doing drink, or I'm gonna put this out for the viewers, right? Maybe stealing from the shops, maybe being promiscuous, maybe even done overeating, undereating, exercising more, not exercising more, sleeping. There's a whole way of destruction without putting too much out there. All right, there's a whole way of destruction before you get to that point where, right, I don't want to be here anymore. And that's the part of the self-help element a lot of people don't understand. You're doing that, stop that. And so where you are now, where you've gone through all of this, Cole's lost their children, but you might as well, it feels the same for you. Because although you've got a child out there, you long to hold that child that you can't. And even though you knew your child was ill, you're not getting any updates. And I am sick and so tired of people's children being taken away without any rehabilitation, any goal setting, any help to try and be a parent.
We've got my mate, an ex-mate of mine. She's got all these kids. Me and Kylie know her, and I'm thinking the amount of time she's abandoned her sons. She got 2 adopted, and then she had another 3, and she's abandoned them again. And there's me. I'm panicking in case I fall pregnant and that gets taken away again. I panic because I don't know what.
How long ago was it, Laura? Sorry, how long ago was it, Laura, since you lost your children?
Jamie was, oh my God, he's 14.
Okay. So in all of those years, you've been struggling to whether or not if I got pregnant again, when I going to get that child taken away. What a way to live. You're not here no more. But actually, I can understand that if you've been given no rehabilitation, it wouldn't be best to bring a child.
When I got pregnant with my son, because it was unplanned, he was accidentally happened. I said to him, look, I need some help. Because I'm in domestic violence, and I've cried out for help for them, and I got nothing. I was in a mother and baby unit with the dad, and he got chucked out, but I couldn't live there because he had control of me.
Yeah. 14 years on, you're still depressed, aren't you? You're still suffering with depression.
Yeah.
And you do have a label on you, which is BPD, correct?
Yeah.
Borderline personality disorder, those people that don't know what that is very much the same as my own, which is EUPD, which is emotionally unstable personality disorder. So what I can do for you, Laura, is help you with workshops to rediscover, okay, in recovery. You'll work with all of us here for your recovery, to continue doing what you're doing with Kylie. We're going to get to that in a minute so you can tell the viewers what you want. But I'd like to offer you as much support as I could possibly give you, and mentoring as well. And as I spoke to you earlier previously about putting on those workshops around those disorders, and I know that you know other people that are in the same situation that have had no help with that diagnosis or understanding it. And so I'd like to remove that label from you and give you a better label for you to become your own entrepreneur, because you guys are already there. Do you understand?
Yes.
So with what you're doing is amazing, and I feel that yes, it went into the paper, but I just feel that for now, what is tomorrow? What is the next day? How do you tackle your emotions when you're down? And I know that you're married now, right?
Yeah.
You see, so your life was going on anyway. Yeah.
I started it took, because when I split up with the dad, my kid's dad, from 2014, I was going in and out of relationships. I was going out with people in prison. I had no idea what I was doing at that time. I had no way of controlling.
They call that impulsive decision making, and that's part of the disorder, being impulsive and making decisions, not even thinking, just doing it. That's all part of getting self.
I didn't get told I had this until 2011.
Yeah, you're going to ask and they're going to put it all in a box, but when, like me, you're a tick box to people, okay? And the first thing, and this is what they do in therapy when you go to the GP. Go ahead, Lou, go ahead.
Sorry, Laura, your children, you said that they're fostered, not adopted.
No, they're adopted.
Oh, they are adopted, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that adoption, if we talk about that adoption, is it right? Because not long ago I had a young lady, she passed away now. Her name is Sam, and I do not mind talking about Sam because she was an amazing woman that was part of the Mom Project, who told her story. Again, she had her children taken away from her. She had disability, a lot of illnesses, and the struggle to go and see these children when they put a time limit on you, when they're doing that foster care.
Yeah.
You are running around ragged correctly, having to justify this, justify that, make sure your home's right, make sure that and make sure you show up at this meeting and then do all your paperwork with the court. How on earth could you focus through any of that?
I didn't. My focus was my son, seeing my son and my daughter. That's, you know, I gave birth to them. 10 days later, they got taken off me, went straight into foster home. I've never had them at home. And I went to court, went to every single contact, and then finding out my daughter at 10 months old, she's being adopted. I asked for letterbox, open adoption. They went no, because it was emotional for the kid as she grows up. So I went through my son again.
What was their reason for taking your children?
If
you don't mind me asking, if it's too personal, don't say
no,
it.
it's fine. I didn't know my ex-husband, his family was a paedophile.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Bleep that one out.
Sorry. I didn't know until I went to court. They said because I went in and out foster home my life, they thought they didn't have nothing on my background, because they said that with the support I would have had in Southampton with mother and baby unit down there, I would have had my daughter home and my son home. But because this violent and being in a relationship with someone who's a paedophile and a rapist, didn't know didn't know who to believe. I was stuck in that middle. And having both of them taken off me when they were like 10 days old from the hospital, it was heartbreaking.
So it makes common sense.
How old was you?
How
old was you at the time?
Well, she's not little no more. She'll be 16 soon. So I was like 18, 19.
Yeah. So it makes sense when you said that you was in the abusive relationship, a controlling relationship, and then when the authorities done their background checks, they find out more about this individual. By then they're thinking, oh my God, you know more than you'll let them on, which you don't when you're in relationships, some of them, and then they did give you a choice, but you wasn't quite understanding why you were being told to be torn between child's father and
if they like gave me some information about domestic violence when I was pregnant with my daughter, I told them, like, when I had contact, he did this to me, he did that. They just blanked it. You know, I was crying out at contact that. And then when they witnessed him chucking a baby item at me, and it nearly missed my daughter's head, and I cried because I needed help, and I didn't get no support or help from the social worker.
And so you couldn't get, you're with him, so it seems like that wherever you was, he was.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even be that or try to be a mother separated away from him. So that's the difficulty about domestic violence, people. And when you've got children, it is so hard to run. And I can relate to that because I ended up staying in the domestic violence for 12 years and I almost lost my children. And I was given that choice, that man or my children. That is not, do you know what? I guess I hid behind the police. I finally spoke out and I hid behind the police. And I followed the remit of getting a I can't even say that word, the order, non-molestation.
Non-molestation.
Right.
So like a restraining order on him where he's not allowed no contact, anything. If he does, he'll go to prison. He's been in and out of prison so many times.
Okay.
And yeah.
So there's a lot of people don't know what to do when they're in this domestic violence. So
I need to like.
Let's tell you what, we're women here, okay? And we're going to do some people a favour by right now giving some people some tips and tools in what they can do to protect themselves. All right?
Yeah.
Now you know you're not there no more. And if we talk about anyone condemn you for now, that would be for them, that would be discrimination. We're not there anymore. Okay, you cannot be condemned for the rest of your life. You're already doing that to yourself.
Yeah.
But I want to point out to any mothers or fathers that are going through this, for starters, you know, you owe it to your children to stay alive. If they're going through what they're going through, and you're going through that too, you know, being separated, you think that they don't know no different, but they're going to be told, and they will. Then their life would be, if some people don't tell the children that they were fostered or adopted out, it becomes a lie. So we're going to be telling them the truth when they get
My
you.
daughter knows that she's been adopted. She knows that they told us from when she was able to talk. They said to her that, showed her letters, read her letters. Jamie, he gets letters read from his adoption parents, what I write. So they both know, which I'm grateful.
I'm glad that you have that adopted parent that is accepting these letters and allowing those letters, because that is a real eye-opener, because that doesn't happen very often. When somebody is adopted out, that's the end of the mother's contact, full stop. So I think you're very privileged, and it's only going to be not very long before they're going to come and knock on that door freely. And so the recovery side, that's why I want to help you to.
They've been asking about their dad, but
you can't lie at that age.
I haven't told the lie, and I haven't told the truth.
So how do you do this?
Oh my God, how are we going to do it? I always say to my children, I write a letter, I put it down, and I'm like, sometimes I wish he was dead. And then I rub it up. I haven't sent it, but that's what I think in my head, you know?
Yeah.
And then they ask me, why don't he has contact with them? And I'm like, he hasn't had contact with you since the day you were born.
So this is going to be hard to tell these children in the right mannerism, but if they're watching this, they will, I mean, this is not live at the moment, we're pre-recorded that, so just in case we decide to change our mind, we can, all right? So when you go out live the way you're going out live, they're going to read and hear everything about what you're saying. So for me, how do you tell a child that their father is, or mother, I'm going to put it in both aspects, when we're talking about people in general, how do you tell them that without feeling blamed yourself? You know, that's a hard one.
I will probably, my kids are going to blame me soon, like, oh, why couldn't you choose us? So I've got to put into think of their mind, I could have done more for them.
You couldn't do more for yourself, if I'm honest. You couldn't do more for yourself.
I couldn't do anything.
You wasn't well. You was at the time of your age, mental health wasn't spoken about the way it's spoken about today. Those diagnoses that you're given wasn't even there back in those days. Okay, is more developed and more now of the understanding where they all come from. So there you are, a child trapped in a child's body. Okay, so this is the best way, if your children ever watch this, is the way I'm going to explain it. A child trapped in a child's body, never been able to grow, because before you got to that, there was past childhood trauma. So you never grew from that childhood trauma. And this is very relatable for myself, because through that childhood trauma, it's very difficult to bond with children. It's you think you could, you know, the more kids you have, the better understanding you have. Yeah, I get that. But you don't understand why is that we just wanted to go out all the while. It wasn't about the going out. It's just that how do I parent? Nobody actually taught me how to parent properly.
You weren't parented properly. That's
right. And so, you know, and then especially particularly if our parents don't talk to us about sex, don't talk to us about paedophilia, don't talk to us about domestic violence, don't talk to us about rape. They don't talk to us about a lot of stuff until it's too bloody late. But we've already implemented their bad habits.
When I was 10 years old, I just didn't give a damn what my mum and dad said. You know, me being 10, going out with my mates, getting drunk, smoking.
So I just wanted to show the pattern is there for a lot of people, that they don't, you know, if we don't tell you we've got a label, you just see hi, but you don't know what go on behind closed doors or what that person's actually going through. And with you, with anybody with these diagnoses, there is a consistency of that pattern, which has gone from a very, very young age, and it's gone undetected for a very, very long time. What you've done today, ladies, is you're exposed and brought out really the mental health side of things, of why and how it got to this point. And I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Proud of yourself.
I'm not looking down. I'm a mum myself, but I'm not looking down at you because you had your children taken away. I can understand that you wasn't even given enough help. You wasn't given the right tools, and the people that were working around you at that time didn't identify or wasn't equipped to help you the way you needed to really be helped to identify what was going on. And that happens in 2021, is still happening out here. People are given these diagnoses, and every minute someone's ringing up the mental health team. You go to the mental health, please give us a description. So please tell me your average day of calling up the mental health. Laura? I'm sure Kylie will tell me about that in a minute. Laura, you call up the mental health. Have you ever called up the mental health for help?
No.
Never? So even though you're going through you go through the ups and downs and the instability, you didn't call the crisis team at all? You just...
I've actually like self-harm, and I'll end up in hospital because how serious. And then the crisis team will come out and say, why did you do this? And
you're self-harming with bleeding, so you bleed at the end of your self-harm?
Oh my God, yeah, I had to have
right.
stick, which I don't want people to do.
Right, so well, I understand your self-harm, which is, you know, I've done that bleeding one, which is not very good, right? Now, from that point where you ended up going to hospital, why didn't you get any help after that?
Because I didn't want it. I said to him, I can do it myself. But me being me, I didn't know help was out there, because I've grown up with having no help. And I thought, having this help, how do I know you're not going to abandon me like all the rest of the people around me?
This is the big thing, isn't it, about stability, isn't it? When you've got a key worker or support worker, that you know, you need to know where you are, and they don't stay long. And that's where you think we get connected very close to them, because we pour our personal stuff into them.
In 2016, I had a key worker, and he goes, I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Oh yeah, you get a phone call, oh sorry, he's off sick. Can I make another? No. So I'll end up going shoplifting, because it's my way, because my head was all over the place. I needed help, so I shoplift.
Did you get caught?
Yes.
And then what happened?
I got 20 days rehabilitation centre and rehab. Like, I had to go to probation, and I stayed out ever since. I stayed out of trouble.
Why? What scared you about that probation?
No, it wasn't the probation. I was with someone else at the same time. So the main thing was getting shoved into the police cell. I had an anxiety attack, and I was banging my head against the wall, because I was having a nervous breakdown, and then getting behind the courts, and the court saying, this is a serious crime, you've done it so many times. And I'm like, well, I've only done it a couple of times.
So they're looking at what you've done and not the reasons for why you've done
it. Yeah.
My solicitor, who I had back in 2005, I won't go into a reason why about that one just yet. She bailed me out in 2005, and she bailed me out again. And I said to her that it's my mental health. And I thought I saw my ex-partner in supermarket. So I got hold of the trolley and walked out. So me seeing someone of my past, I froze and walked out. Yeah.
So now you've got a bloody criminal record.
But I know I've got a criminal record, but 5 years ago, I have gone out and worked. I work, and I'm proud of working.
So your work, they understand what you're going through, and are they supportive?
Better healthcare. Well, I worked with them. They knew about my history, and in 15th of February this year, they let me go because apparently I broadcast about my criminal record, which I didn't. I didn't say what it was for. This other colleague of mine was telling me all her history of her criminal record. So I was like, okay, but I've got a criminal record. I went, and then they said about me mentioning my mental health. I didn't say, because this other colleague, like another who I was looking after, she had a really severe mental health, and she used to shut herself away like I do. And I said, you cannot make someone come out of their flat or their bedroom if they feel comfortable and safe. And I got let go because I was telling them my opinion of how I see things.
It's hard to hold down jobs, isn't it, as well, with these disorders, because people, even though you go in full-heartedly, I can help, when you start going into these organisations, sometimes they will overwork you because they can see that vulnerability and how desperate you are.
I was like, because they knew about my medication, my chloroquine, I have to take that at night. And I said to them, I can't do night shifts. They went, okay. And I can't do these 15-hour shifts. I was getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, until 10 o'clock at night working. I was absolutely exhausted. My mental health got worse.
In a sense, yes, you were working there, but in a sense, when they've got a business to run, and if somebody's not showing up, kind of like the person that's running the business, they're going to be mentally affected because they're not fulfilling their needs. Do you see what I'm saying? So even though you feel it's unfair to you, even though you think it's unfair to you and that they should be reasonable and understanding with the mental health, they have a job to do. And I'm being honest with you, because it's no different to me. I have a company, and if people don't show up, who's it going to affect? My mental health, because I'm having to find a replacement. So
I was showing up every day in and day out. Even if I had a cold, I was still turning up for work. Even if I felt like crap, I still turn up for work. Where other people phone up and say, oh, they're ill, I'm ill. They used to ring me up and say, can you do this? Can you do that? And they know.
Laura, all I've got to say is that the universe has got different plans for you, love. So if that happened, it ain't because you chose it to happen. It happened because the universe has got different plans for you. So don't be so hard on yourself. All right?
Yeah.
So that's a positive way. Anyone got any questions for Laura? You've got loads. You've been telling us a lot, ain't you?
I know.
Kylie, how do you feel supporting Laura and Laura supporting you when these you guys
support each other when we need her? Like, she's a phone call away if I need her, and there if I need to cry and to scream, and yeah, she's there for me, and the other way around, if she needs me, she knows I'm on the phone. So yeah.
So
I'll take my hat off to both of you, because
I do. Laura,
you're clearly way stronger than you even think that you are. To even be sitting here sharing what you're sharing and still and doing what you're doing. You know, you've got to look at it like, you, as much as you've been through, you're now at that place where, like Kerry said earlier, you're now turning it into a positive. Yeah. Not a lot of people would have got that far.
That's right.
Now you've turned it around. You might still feel inside that you're not where you would like to be, but I guarantee you're going to get to where you want to be, because there's clearly something in there that's giving you the drive to carry on. I'm not. I'm quite a driven person, and sitting here after listening to what you've been through, I'm like, I'm so glad I'm sitting down, because I really don't know. You, like you said before, you don't know until you're in that situation. I've been through domestic violence. That took me 11 years to get out of and to get to where I am now today. So we're all, Kerry's been through hers, we're all living proof that
Women can get back up.
But we're living proof, you know, that, you know, when you're going in it, when you're in it, you don't think there's any way out of it.
No.
But you've got to keep pushing and you've got to keep fighting. And then when you've come out the other side, then you've still got to keep pushing, so that the other people that hear your story, they keep pushing and they keep fighting. And that's the only way. It is the only way. So, do you know what? Hats off to both of you, because you are both truly amazing and so young as well. I feel pretty old. But
I'm only 34.
so much. Sorry?
I'm only 34.
And what you've been through at 30. And
can I say that with getting, with you attending the future workshops and identifying what needs to be identified within recovery, I would say that I know that once I get my my verbal message out there, it's normally taken somebody a couple of weeks just to change the thought process. Not long, is it? For all of those years, just a few weeks of me just talking to you and asking you to replace or giving you implementing tools to for your recovery, you'll start to see the change. I can't force you to do anything. I can lead your hand, to this is where the direction that you need to go. But if you don't show up, then you don't change the outcome to your life. And even though you're buzzing right now, and I'm looking at that, you're on a high because of what's happening with the newspaper with you and Kyle, and you might want to celebrate, but you will come down again. Laura, you go up and down like a yo-yo.
Yeah, I do.
And you will come down again. And when you come down again, you're in this, oh, what now? What do I do now? What does tomorrow look like? You have no plan. That's your issue with it. There's a lot of issue with that diagnosis. There's no plan.
Yeah.
If I didn't have this project, I'd be right where you was years ago. Because I get up because I have a mission to hear stories like yours and Kylie's, to get that story out, to give other people hope. That's my mission. It's not always about me now, but I'm going to show you the way of walking forward and empowering yourself. Yeah. So Susan has kindly offered you some sessions around hypnotherapy or psychotherapy if you want to take
we can definitely do some what we call a solution focus in moving you forward in a positive way.
Can you put your number and your details please in the chat so they can take that? That would be good. Or we can get that in a little while after this.
I'll let you deal with that.
Thank you. See, we all have our strengths and weaknesses in different departments, and we use each other's strengths and weaknesses to get to where we're going, to what we're doing. So your shining star, you want some donations, don't you?
Yes,
what
please.
Do you want let me put this on do your spotlight and tell us one by one or all together. I wish I could put you both in the same screen. Take it away. What do you want from the viewers to help you with your shining star?
We just need like donations to like help us with these little bags. What we're going to make up, we're going to have jewelry with a little footprint, necklace, a star, bracelet, and some walls.
So you're doing a little what do you call the bag?
We haven't decided on the bag yet.
So the bag with the you said it's going to have, that's so cute, the jewelry. Is this for once the child, is it going to be personalized? That's what I want to know.
No, it's
So it's just going to be a standard thing.
the footprint is for like the babies, premature babies what passed away, and the stars is for the children who's really poorly with illness, so could have heart problem, cancer. So they've got a little star, the parents, with a little note or poem, just and a candle.
I think the bag should be called Shining Stars, really, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can put it up for viewers vote. But this is
I think I like the theme there. It looks lovely.
Lovely.
And that would be a nice print, the same print that you've got there
on
onto the bags themselves. Yeah.
We want to have t-shirt printed as well.
We have a t-shirt supply, sweetheart, so we can get you that.
Thank you.
So we work with Garmentos UK, so he will help you out there where you can have your own clothes production. All right, so you're talking about mentoring. We have our own t-shirts, so you're welcome to get those. And you could actually, if you wanted to, you could put stars on whatever you wanted to do, but you can have your own clothes brand, and we can help you sort that out and put you onto supplier as well. So again, no outlay for you, so we'll show you the way of making this dream get bigger.
We want to go like, children who's at St. Guides who's going through operations. We want to send like teddy bears to Ormond Street for the sick children, so they have their own blankets. So we want to make it really big so we can help other families in the whole world.
And to make it really big, you're going to need a big team.
I was just about to say, is it just you two at the moment?
Yes, but it's only going to be us two for a little while until we start everything off, and then we're going to try and recruit people more and more. Yep.
And I heard earlier, as I was talking, would you be doing a knitting workshop? Because I think that's a brilliant idea.
No, I can't. My mum, bless her, if she was here, bless her, she would knit everything. She loves knitting, but because she's not here, bless her.
And are you knitting those? You're knitting those both yourselves?
No, we've got.
I have friends. I have a couple of friends that do that. My mum's friends.
I've got my work colleague, Karen. She's knitting. She's brilliant.
Yeah, knit. Hold on. Wait a minute. I know my son won Christmas for a Christmas present. He got me some knitting needles and some wool, and I just gave him one big dirty look.
I can knit it, but I can't.
My nan taught me to knit, so I know how to knit.
Yeah, you
knit in straight lines.
I can remember that you do the little loop, you put it through, then you push that through, you push that over that bit, in and out like that, and then you like this. Sorry, but my mum taught me a little bit of a basic knitting session, and I do think this is a good
That is it.
Yeah, I think we should have a coffee morning knitting session.
My mum used to do crochet. She used to crochet her blankets.
No, ain't that far.
Both of my children has got handmade blankets.
I love it.
Lovely. I love
jackets, hat. So I can't really moan. I love knitting stuff.
Do you want to ask any questions? I am so proud of you two. Shining Star, you heard it. We'll put the link up when we put this out, and want you to come back again and let us know what you want, even if it's to say, right, I'm coming on the mum to ask for a public announcement to say, guys, will you donate to whatever? Please do that. You don't have to say too much, but you can just come and shout out, look, you're on the platform, take it away. You can go live in there and ask, because then people understand what survival is in our group, and therefore they should be behind you. But sometimes what I have noticed, that there isn't too many people that will come out and speak. So just know that your testimonials are great.
We just want people to speak up and tell us what they've been through, so then we can be there and support them.
I do other things as well. So if you have time on your hands and you would like to be involved in some of the things that I do and I go to as well, that option's there. I'll try and probably put you in some kind of a group so you can get that information. And then so it can come directly to you. But we've got meditation coming up.
I've never done it, and I'm really wanting to try it.
Yeah. Listen, when I clicked on don't tell them, when I clicked on the meditation, I went, how am I supposed to concentrate on that when I see that body there? And I was just looking, I'm sorry, I mean, now I got it. And it was the gong that shocked me out of it. Ooh, you know, just brief tuning into this meditation, but kindly spoke to a lovely guy called Naz, who is going to be working for the Under the Mum Project, and is going to be bringing us what we need to get this head space right. It's important, Laura, to take time to understand and allow yourself that reward of time, to pamper yourself with those rewards of, even if it's meditation, even if it's a bubble bath, even if it's a walk out. It's important that we replace those things with a different way of living to what we're accustomed to. Because we I don't know about you, but the way I look at this is sometimes my life's completely changed. I felt like, listen, I was raised on the council estate, yeah? I'm great with that because that's where you learn everything, yeah? Survival. And I think we've learned that survival around the communities that we've been brought up in, depending where you've been brought up. But specifically the towns that I think you're from the same, don't say where you're from, but don't say where you're from, but specifically from the areas that we were been brought up on, is that it's more street growth. Does that make sense? We didn't know how to be elegant, ladylike. We didn't get the option. Okay, does that make sense?
Rough and tumble.
We're not the queen. We weren't brought up like the queen and all the posh areas.
Some people are just untarnished with their upbringing, and some people were just completely didn't even get one. So what I'm saying is, where you are now developing, what's going to happen is it will go into the elegance, graceful of a woman. Does that make sense? Where you are, guys, now.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you've got to dress up like a woman. No. But your vocabulary will certainly change the more and more you go on to help other people.
Yeah.
I'm Mona Isaac. Mine is. I learned a few posh words along the way. But I'm going to say thank you for your interview. You know, please do not self-harm out there. Pick up the phone. What is the blinking number anyway? Pick up the phone and get some help. If your old mental health services are just not doing it for you, and you've got to wait 6 months or so, or 7 or 8 or 9, maybe a couple of years.
Night Owl or whatever out there.
Yeah, Night Owl. Well, I was registered for Night Owl, but not once did I actually ever get to speak to them.
I was registered with them.
I didn't get to speak to them, and I was in a crisis. So I was registered on the Recovery College as well. That was different. Everybody has their own technique, and if you're lucky to be one of those that are using a service that helps, then
I'm still waiting for Wave. I haven't got any.
And they don't. This is the thing about Suffolk. That's where I'm from, right? But the thing about Suffolk and Waves, it's particularly for around borderline personality disorders. Waves is the only. Well, they was the only ones until Kerry came along with the Mind Over Matter. So they're the only ones that sort of tackled, but they have an old approach, and they have a certain way of doing it, and they're not gonna allow you to do X, Y, and Z the way you need to do X, Y, and Z or express. Can you watch your P's and Q's, please? Can you not do this? Can you not do that? Yeah. Can you have your manners? Oh, if you're having a meltdown, get out. Sorry, I don't mean that. They will understand, but I'm just saying, you sometimes do need a real approach into recovery rather than textbook or same old script. And I think that for years now that there has been Mind, and Mind does mental health awareness, and they do support where they need to and signed posting, but they're not really that equipped to deal with as much level of support that these diagnoses need. The borderline personality disorder can't, 6 weeks is not enough of recovery, and because it's only an hour, so you think about it, that's only 6 hours that you're supposed to have turned your whole freaking life around when you've had
in 6 hours.
No. So it's about discovery, and step by step.
Step,
So welcome on board the Mom Project,
Thank you.
Mind Over Matter, and thank you guys for your interview today.
No worries.
Can you please tell them, even though I brought the screen up, where can they find you? Where do you want people to donate? And where's the link?
Facebook.
So we're on Facebook as Shining Star, and on there's a GoFund that you can go on to do donations if you like to.
We need some more donations for like prizes, don't we?
Well, this is what can come in handy, and I'll talk to you after this broadcast. I will talk to you about what we can do about that.
Okay.
It's quite nice when you become an entrepreneur, and and then you run a company that is a not-for-profit, and therefore you can then ask for donations, and therefore if we write a lovely letter to these places, they may just come and help us.
We need a spa.
What, foot spa?
We need a full body spa.
Oh, when they reopen again, yeah, you can revamp yourself. But thank you very much for being here today, Lou, Susan, Laura, Kylie. Thank you so much for being on the Mind Over Matter.
Ladies, it's been an honour. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you will come back again and update us.
Yes, we will.
Well, I don't think you're going to get rid of us now anyway, do you?
No, we won't. You can't get rid of it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.